There we go.
There we go. Now we're recording. Oh, we're official. So we're letting some folks in. Hi, folks. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday. You know, it's interesting. When I named it yesterday as a preemptive, hey, y'all, I called it Wit and Wisdom again. I'm like, that's pretty. And so now we're here. Here we are back again. Wednesday, Wit and Wisdom with David Lee and Paige Stewart. Hello, friends. We are live here in the Building Real Love in Real Life. We are excited to be here once again. I'm David Lee. This is Paige Stewart. There she is. There she is. There she is. And I'm bringing this up so I can pay attention to people who are jumping on here. So if you're here live, let us know. And if you are coming in later and you're watching this, make sure you hashtag replay and let us know your perspective, your thoughts, your comments. And here live, let us know. Comment below and say, hey, I'm here. I'm here. And this is where I'm calling in from, so to speak. Every time I see calling in from, I feel like I'm from the 1990s. Hello, caller. Where are you calling in from? I'm from Seattle, Washington.
So vintage.
I like that. I like that word. So vintage. All right. So let's take a poll here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Ready? Because my beloved Paige Stewart and partner in life and love and business and coaching, she said right before we went live, right before we went on air, that black is not her color. So I want everybody to chime in here. Okay. What do you think? Come on, you do a little, gotta do a little.
Show
off.
So
what do you think?
Little.
Yeah. Does black work for Paige? And by the way, which is a very interesting transition, we're going to talk about, in essence, on not taking things personal. In essence, that's kind of what we're talking about today. So feel free to be honest, okay? Because we work really, really hard on not taking things personal, which, by the way, is one of our 10 guidelines of engagement here at Daring Deeply Coaching, which is to take nothing personal. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to take advantage of this. So what are we talking about? Yeah, there you go. So what do you think about Paige in black? Does it work for her? All right. What's your opinion? What do you think?
I believe that I feel better and look better in white. Just saying. Okay. White is far more my color.
I think you look fantastic in white. Yeah. I think what I like about the black today, babe, is that it's different. It's a variance, which, by the way, is a fundamental masculine desire, is for variance. That's why we are so attracted to different earrings, different hairstyles on our woman, different fashions. By the way, the wounded masculine searches for those things in variant women, right? Like, oh, I'm tired of this one. I'm going to trade that one in. Okay. A healing masculine energy, ladies and gentlemen, is devotion. Did you hear me? Devotion. This is not the topic today, but is devotion. He is devoted to one woman. Did you hear me, gentlemen? One woman. He is devoted. That is a powerful masculine energy that must be exemplified. And how is that exemplified? His healing, through his trauma healing. So there you go. All right. So off of a holiday weekend, everyone, for at least for, on this side of the pond, as we say in the States, celebrated a Thanksgiving holiday, and some across the pond, I guess, would have celebrated Thanksgiving, but nonetheless. And we wanted to talk about how we respond to other people's responses, other people's opinions, what other people think and say, most especially when we're gathering with folks that we don't necessarily spend a lot of time with, or people that we don't know very well, right? How do we respond? And then as actually how it boils down all the way to our partnership. But the title of today is, how do we respond? Or we're not responsible for the opinions or the responses of other people. Oh, this is so hard. This is so hard. I know Paige, I'd love to hear your perspective in a minute. I know that I grew up in a world where we took everything personal. In fact, it was a badge of courage and strength to not take any shit off of anybody, right? If you just, quote, let it go or turn the other cheek, that was deemed weak. And so that's the world in which I grew up, was, oh my gosh, be careful what you say, because that could trigger someone else. Which, by the way, note, you can't trigger anybody, friends, ladies and gentlemen, you can't trigger somebody. It's impossible. They are triggered. That's their choice. And that's their trauma revealing what's the word I want to say? Revealing a past wound is in essence what that is. So how did you, Paige, grow up? Is it similar to Let's take the thing personal.
Very similar. Yeah, I was raised to just have thick skin and to just like let it roll off your back. And, you know, as I'm leaning deeper into healing myself and my own trauma, can you hear that, by the way? There's a man working outside our window
I can't hear him.
and he's
No,
drilling
because your
into.
microphone
Okay,
is
great. So it's a
stellar.
little distracting to me, but I'm just going to keep going.
No, you're good.
So just let it roll off your back. And so as I continue to lean into my healing, I'm learning that much of that was an invitation for self-betrayal and like self-abandonment and watering down my needs to accommodate the emotional temperature of the room, of the circle.
Yep.
And so that's where a lot of my extinguished expression came from. Like hiding everything, harboring everything, and not expressing, just like trying to be like as even keel as humanly possible and not letting others affect me, but I was doing it in a harmful way. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely makes sense. And I think this is most people's experiences when dealing with family and dealing with partnerships and dealing with relationships is to, what do we say? Don't rock the boat. Because we are fearful of someone else's response. I also grew up in a world where we would make statements like this. Oh, that's just who they are. That's just who they are, and you have to deal with it. Right? Which is a falsity, friends. Okay. You don't have to deal with anyone or anything. I'll give you permission. I'll even write you a doctor's note. Okay. You don't have to deal with anyone. You are not obligated to any relationship ever. You're not obligated to any relationship ever. Okay. Just because they have a label like mom, dad, brother, sister, partner, son, whatever, doesn't mean that you're obligated to their relationship and their tetheredness of whatever their response would be to you. This is essentially boundaries, right? Is to know your space, so no matter what you say or do, that you're not responsible for their response on what you're saying or doing. This is next level elevation in your healing. And certainly what we have been learning individually, Paige, right? And certainly as we teach and coach moving forward, is that we are not responsible. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not responsible for somebody else's response to you. And this is difficult. This is really, 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 really challenging because we want to maintain the peace. That's a whole nother conversation, which we can briefly dive into, which goes into some woundedness, both in masculine and feminine energetics, of people pleasing, of ensuring that people like us. So we want to dive into further as we work with our clients, by the way, is to find out why in the world we want them to like us. What is it about somebody liking us that elevates us to a level of worthiness? Which, by the way, your worthiness is intact from the moment you were crafted and created. Okay. What you say and do has no indication of your worthiness. Okay. Who you are, you're simply worthy because you were born. That's it. That's it. Oh, Colette is here. She said, I think your video froze, but I think we're good. I think we're good right now because I didn't notice anybody else coming in here. So anyway,
okay.
Are we good? Are we good, Paige?
We seem good on my end.
From your perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks, Colette, for jumping in here and letting us know. I think we're good. So
yeah. So when we bring this down to the partnership level, right, that's so incredibly challenging to not take things personally because as we talk extensively about our different parts and how our parts are coming forward in different moments from each individual, and then our parts are often communicating and screaming with the other partner's parts. And so there are some things that can be said through the lens of some of these woundings that is challenging to not take personally. And yeah, I'll leave that there for you to pick up on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. This is a fundamental understanding of trauma-informed polarity, which is parts war. We call this parts war. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, how we teach and coach is that we as individuals are made up of many parts. Okay? And as we grow into adulthood, many of those parts have been wounded. And then they have protective parts that are trying to keep those wounded parts safe. So often, those parts are what attracts someone else's parts into a relationship. This is what we refer to as a trauma bond. So, as I often say, I don't want my traumatized parts or my protective parts, the ones that keep me safe, okay, seemingly keeping those parts safe, not me safe, but keeping those parts safe. I don't want them running my credit cards. I don't want them navigating my relationship with Paige or running our business. Because far too often they want to do some things that are selfish in the sense of trying to keep them safe and protected so they don't hurt anymore. So often when we're talking about taking things personal, something will be said between partners, and the part hears and sees that and internalizes it and sees it as an attack. And then those parts are at war. And that's when we have conflict, especially when both masculine energies are coming forward. We have conflict and those parts are at war. So
yeah.
Go ahead, babe.
And that doesn't mean, there's an asterisk on this, and that doesn't mean that you have to take it. Right. Because if it feels disrespectful and it feels like it is crossing your boundaries, then that's where you use your voice and you begin to express truthfully and authentically and respectfully what is on your heart to your partner, so that together you can navigate that together. But just because you're in a relationship where you feel their parts are constantly screaming at you and you're just trying not to take it personally, like there's what's the phrase? When there's a will, there's a way, or I think that's the wrong phrase. Anyway, something's got to give, I guess. Something's got to give as far as, okay, do I continue to receive and accept this behavior and pretend like it's not bothering me? Or is there something that I can do about this?
Yes. And I also believe that the ultimate essence, the ultimate narrative is that we are in the self and that we receive whatever comes at us as simply their wounding. And so not to take it personal and say, I get it. It's your parts. It's your parts. It's your parts.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's like, okay, how long are we going to take potentially some beratement, right? Over and over and over. And there's where the boundaries come in. It's like, we don't have to receive that. We don't have to have that in our presence. And as you say, to step up and to leverage the voice. And the voice, by the way, is leveraged differently for the masculine and the feminine. That's another conversation, right? But certainly for Paige, if she feels attacked in any way, emotionally, relationally, whatever it may be, it's her responsibility in her feminine energy to use I feel statements. I feel dishonored when this is said. There's an example. Right. So super important, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, one of the superpowers of the feminine energy is her voice, her intuition, right? Is I know I leverage Paige's voice, her intuition, her brilliance every single day to bring life, to bring fuel to my powerful, dominant masculine energy to move forward. And there we have polarity, right? So getting back to our conversation about not being responsible for someone else's response. This is super important in all relationships and really, really hard. There's a reason why we get defensive. There's a reason why we want to defend our position. There's a reason why we get hurt, is because those parts are saying, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. I need to lash out, I need to attack, or I need to freeze, or I need to flight, or I need to fawn, I need to disappear. These are all trauma responses, okay? Ultimately, what we're searching for is the ability to communicate and receive. If we're in relationship, we choose to be in relationship with a particular individual. If it's somebody in family who no longer serves us, that's another conversation as well. But regardless, whatever comes at us is that we don't take it personal, because we can look at them and know that's their wounded part coming forward, and it has nothing to do with us. So hard. So hard to do. And this is the work, ladies and gentlemen. This is the work, is to ultimately be so grounded and unattached to the opinions and responses of others. I've often said this in multiple ways. Friends, we can't believe and we can't be attached to what we call the good press or the bad press, right? We can't be attached to that defines our worthiness. So do I appreciate when goodness comes my way? Of course I do. Of course I do. But I can't leverage it so much that it defines my worthiness, just like I can't leverage when the negative stuff comes in, when, quote, the haters come in, well, that's their opinion. That's where they're coming from. And most likely it's coming from a wounded part of theirs. That helps so much in grounding. And by the way, helping humanity come together. Because if we look at people as wounded individuals, which by the way, we all are, and those wounded parts are coming forward when we are attacked or when something cruel or mean is said to us, is to say, that's their hurt. And as we've said a lot, hurt people hurt people. But there you go.
Beautiful. Yeah, so good.
By the way, babe, love the earrings today. I've
Thank
had my eye on
you.
them. Yeah, it's
A client got them for me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Very nice. Beautiful.
They're
What
handsome.
else? What else is range? Anything else that's coming up for you as far as not to take things personal, right? Not to take the opinions and the responses of others personally.
You know, I think the best thing that I've done for myself in moments where I have received negative comments or disrespect or something that has felt hurtful is just to remind myself who I am. Remind myself who I am, reground in what I know to be true, what feels authentic for me, reground in, my truth, my true expression, and take a few moments to breathe deeply, close my eyes, maybe reground, feel my feet into the earth and feel my body and just come back to center. And otherwise, like, I feel like if I don't do that, that now all of a sudden these opinions of others are literally just like thrashing me throughout the remainder of my day and the coming days until I choose to reground and connect with my body next. And so, yeah, it's powerful to remind yourself in your truth, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all the above, after experiencing dysregulation in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the work, right? And that's the work in which we help so many folks become and do, Paige, is to ground into that confidence of who you are, and that who you are is not dependent on what people think you are. It is who you are. And when you're grounded in that space, no matter what comes into your consciousness, you're able to say, you know what, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good because of the healing of the trauma, which comes into place here. So I think that's a great place to end at this point. So Sharon is here. Great to see you. We're getting ready to wrap it up. So please continue to watch on #replay if you're watching that later. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention a couple of things, a couple of announcements. One, we have an incredible first step into healing, specifically through the feminine lens. And it's called Femininity 101, right? And it's led primarily, it's a self-led course, 7 days. It's a fantastic introduction into some of our work, led primarily by Paige. There's a video in there from yours truly as well. But it's a fantastic opportunity, ladies, for you to jump into some of this healing work, to stick your toe in the water, so to speak. And we'll drop here in the comments for you to check that out. So ladies, if you're interested.
Or if you want the link, just drop a comment and we'll send it to you directly. That would be easier.
I love that. I like that even better. So, and then additionally, Paige and I are hosting our next live coaching event, which is happening on Monday, December 12th. Monday, December 12th, ladies and gentlemen, Monday, December 12th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here in the States. And we had an incredible turnout last month. And so we're going to offer that again, a complimentary session where Paige and I will take your questions and provide insight and coaching and answers to your most complex things that keep you up at night, relationships and sex and intimacy and polarity and trauma and all the things. So that happens, and you need to register. So if you want the link to the complimentary coaching event, say, I want the link to register for that event in the comments below, and we'll get you there. We already have a bunch of people registered for that event. We're super excited. So bring your questions. If you're interested in knowing more about what we're doing here and want some insight from David and Paige from the masculine and feminine perspective, I invite you to join us on Monday, December 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Anything else?
We had so much fun last time.
We had so much fun. We did.
It was, yeah, time flew. There were incredible questions.
We did.
Beautiful community building. Like within the shares, there were a lot of Me Too moments, which brought just nice safety and comfort and release. So I'm looking forward to it very much so. A couple of weeks, less than.
I know, less than a couple of weeks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of the Building Real Love in Real Life group. I'm David Lee. That's Paige Stewart. And if you want more information on more of our coaching and supportive services, let us know. You can drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And other than that, have a fantastic day. Thank you, babe.
See you next time. Thank you.
I love you in black.
Thanks for leading. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.